restorative yoga, changing it up a little bit here with a restorative practice. If you haven't done a restorative practice, you're in for a treat. And if it's not your thing, there's plenty of other yoga videos around that move a bit more than we do in a restorative practice. So we'll get going in about 4 minutes. I'm going to try not to use too many props. You can use a lot of props in a restorative practice. I have here a big pillow, and I have 2 smaller pillows. You'll be able to do the pose without any pillows, but if you do have some pillows laying around, I'd say grab them. And again, we'll get going in a few minutes. Well, welcome everyone to 5 p.m. Thursday restorative yoga. I'll invite you to find a cross-legged sit on your floor and feeling free to prop yourself up on a pillow so you can sit up a little straighter, a little taller, also softening the floor. I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees and pulling back with your hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin as we start to draw our attention inward. And I'll invite you to start our practice this evening just by watching your breath as it flows in and as it flows out. arriving here on our yoga mat or our yoga pillow, ready for an evening yoga practice, a restorative practice. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation matched by a long, slow exhalation. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the base of the belly, the top of the chest, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your bodies. And as you breathe out, I'll invite you to keep the belly soft and just let the air whoosh out. Now I'll invite you to find Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth. Keeping that connection as long as we're a little more active. If we're less active, you can release that connection. And when we find Jiva Bandha, we connect the tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth. It keeps us from clenching our jaws, which is what I often do when I'm working real hard, and it doesn't really help too much. Not that we will not be working very hard in this class at all, though. So anyway, keeping this, let's move a little bit just to kind of get our jitters out, and then we'll lay down and relax. We'll hold each pose probably 6, 7, 8 minutes. We'll do another pose. In terms of video presentation, there's not that much going on, but in terms of rest, relaxation, and just letting go, hopefully this practice serves you. So anyway, I'll invite you to bring one hand by a hip, other hand finds a thigh. Let an inhale grow your spine tall, and then finding a twist. Either keeping your gaze front, off to the side, or looking over your back shoulder. With every inhale, sitting up a little taller. With every exhale, finding a little more twist. Now letting your next inhale bring you through center, and let's find a twist the other way. So we ground down through the other hand finds the other thigh. Take an initial inhale to sit tall, and then finding your twist. Again, finding a place to look that works for you. If you look over the back shoulder and it's not quite right, always coming back to off to the side, or just looking straight ahead. Finding a place that works for your neck, that works for your body. Now letting your next inhale bring you through center, and let's switch the cross of the legs. And we'll take a twist to each side again. Left hand down, right hand finds the thigh. Let an inhale grow your spine tall, and then finding your twist. And one more breath here. Letting your inhale bring you through center, other hand down, other hand finds other thigh. Let your inhale grow your spine tall, and then finding your twist. And then inhaling back center, and let's find 2 long legs in front of us. And let's just give those legs a little bounce, releasing any congestion in the knees, any congestion in the hips. And then let's sit up for our first restorative shape, and it's going to be a supported back bend. So I've got a big pillow, and I've got a smaller pillow. So I'm not sure what you have at home. I'll suggest finding a comfortable pillow, but I'm going to use a small pillow here. And I'm going to bring it underneath my sacrum for supported bridge pose. So I'm flat on my back. I've actually got a second pillow that I'm going to prop behind the back of my head. I'm going to bring my sacrum onto the pillow. I'm going to lay myself down. I'm going to adjust that pillow just right, so I've got a little bit of lift here. I'm going to take that other pillow and put it behind the back of my head. Arms out to the side, the palms face up. And then I'm going to hang out here for about 6 minutes. Taking a few breaths to arrive in this shape. As I start to arrive, maybe I make a little adjustment here, a little adjustment there. Initially focusing on the flow of my breath as it flows in and out. And then as I settle into the shape, even letting that focus soften as I take my senses inside, and your senses at home also going inside. And preparing to move to another shape. Another 2 or 3 long, slow breaths here. From this place, I'll invite you to flip the palms down and let's bring the hands right by our hips, pressing into our hands and feet to lift up our hips. And we'll take that pillow underneath the sacrum, we'll slide it off to the side. And as we lay our back down, I'll invite you to lay each vertebrae down as if you're laying pearls onto a cushion. When your sacrum lands down, we can stretch long through an arm, rolling onto one side, and then just hanging out there for a breath or two. And then neck relax, face soft as we press on up. And let's get ready for our second shape, which is a supported forward fold. So I'm going to take my small pillow, and I'm going to sit up on the small pillow. I'm going to try to get a little bit of anterior tilt to the pelvis. So I'm on the front of the sits bones. Pelvis is tilted a little bit front. I'm not rounded and slumped like that. I'm going to find some space in my low back. I'm going to take my big pillow here. I'm going to bring the big pillow into my belly. And I have another smaller pillow here, and pillows can be folded. The idea is I want to be in this forward fold with enough support so I don't feel crunched. I can breathe and I'm comfortable in the shade for about 5 minutes. So I've got the pillow. I might make some adjustments here. Everyone's bodies are a little bit different. I'm going to lead with my heart as I fold. I want to find more space, not less space in the spine. And I want to feel like my forehead is supported. So I'm going to fold this pillow up, and I'm going to rest my forehead on the pillow. And then I'm just going to drape my body over my arrangement here as I stretch out my back. And already I can feel I need to be a little bit higher. So I'm going to double this pillow. And then take this pillow, and I'm going to double that up. And I'm going to sacrifice that press of the forehead into something. But I'm much more comfortable here. I can breathe. So finding a supported forward fold. That works for you. Nice focus in this shape is just breathing into back heart. And another 5 or 6 long, slow breaths here. Now to come out of the shape, I'll invite you to tuck the chin. We can push into our thighs, into our shins to come on up. We can bring our pillows off to the side. And let's set up for a supported prone back bend. with a pillow under the belly to stimulate digestion and elimination. So I'll invite you to, I'm going to go small pillow here. I might double it up. I'm going to bring it in that place between the navel and the pubis. I'm going to lay down upon the pillow. I'm going to go back a little bit so you can see where I am. I'm going to cross my forearms, and some of you, maybe that's not comfortable. Another place to work would be to find a pair of soft fists. You want to make sure you have plenty of room to breathe. And if you're giving yourself a little bit too much height under the belly, you could always back off, but I would suggest some time in this shape. You'll get used to it, and it won't be as intense. So laying on our pillow, finding enough height so you're comfortable, and then just resting and relaxing. And make sure I'm in the frame here. All right, awesome. And another 5 or 6 long, slow breaths here. Now to come out of the shape, I'll suggest a rocking horse push-up. As we tuck our toes, we bring our hands under our shoulders, the knees stay down as we lift ourselves up, and then stretching it back to a child's pose. And also just taking that pillow that was under the belly and parking it between the sits bones and the heels. And again, I'll suggest a cross of the forearms or a pair of soft fists. As we hold this child's pose, I'll invite your belly to massage your thighs. and your thighs to massage your belly. And we'll hold this about a minute. And another couple breaths here. From this child's pose, let's push up to an all-fours position. And let's do a little bit of movement here. Let me go sideways so you guys can see my spine. Nice and wide with the fingers as we ground down between the thumb and the forefinger. And let's work a cat-dog combo. Breathing in, lifting chin and tail. Exhaling, tucking toes, tucking tail, tucking chin as we round it in. And just back and forth with your breath, inhaling. And exhaling. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Now let's do 3 more. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Inhaling, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. And 1 more to go. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. And then coming back to neutral spine. In neutral spine, I'll invite you to give your hips a circle. Say 5 or 6 times one way. And then 5 or 6 times the other way. And then back to center. So we have some real swan fans in our at-home audience here. So let's do a supported swan. And I'm going to suggest maybe 1 small pillow and 1 big pillow. So we'll start on the right side. So I like to work the swan with the knee joint closed. This far hip might support that hip point. Another way to support the shape is to take a pillow, big or small, under the hip of the bent front leg. From here, we want to find some length in our spine as we put our swan to sleep. So shoulder blades back and down, leading with the heart as we fold. And then I'll suggest again, across of the forearms, this time we have a pillow to raise the floor a little bit, or a pair of soft fists. And just hanging out, and we'll be here about 2 or 3 minutes as we breathe into our right hip. And another couple long, slow breaths on this side. And then I'll invite you to push on up. Let's come onto that right hip and let's swing the left foot front. Let's be super, super careful how we open up this right knee. So we can keep the knee joint closed as we bring the leg center. We can flex the foot as we lengthen through the leg. And let's give that right knee a little love and consideration. A hand on each side. Fingers can find the back of the knee, just exploring that place. And then letting all the muscles around the knee relax as we just give that kneecap a little wiggle. And let's sit up for a supported swan on our second side. So, I'm going to bring that big pillow off to the other side. I'm going to close that left knee joint. Can you all see that? I might use that left heel to support the right hip. I like to unfurl the foot for a little more stability so the tops of the toes are down. And I'm going to take that big pillow. I'm going to park it under the sits bone of that bent front leg. I want to set the shoulder blades back and down and then leading with the heart. More length, more length, more length. And then finding a way to support my forehead that's going to work for 2 or 3 minutes here, either a cross of the forearms or a pair of soft fists. And then just hanging out and breathing into that left hip. And another couple long, slow breaths here. Now to come out, I'm going to invite you to push into your hands as we come on up. We come onto that left sits bone. We can swing the right leg front. We want to be super, super careful as we release the shape on the left side. So we bring the knee joint center. We flex the foot as we straighten the leg. And then I'll invite you to give that left knee some love and consideration. A hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. And then letting the muscles of the knee relax as we give that kneecap a little wiggle. From here, let's find a supported twist to each side. And let's use a small pillow for the head and a big pillow to support the twist. So let's see, make sure all parts of my body are visible here. I'm going to come down onto my back. I'm going to use that small pillow to lift the forehead a little bit higher than the chin. I've got my big pillow here. I'm going to use it to support my legs. I'm going to walk the feet in. My knees go off to one side. I'll suggest arms out to a T. And I'll suggest, for this version, palms up. And actually, I see my small pillow right here. I'm going to stick that small pillow between my two legs. Now, either keeping my gaze straight up, or I'm going to look towards that far hand. And holding this for, 15 to 20 breaths, say 3 or 4 minutes. Just unwinding the low back, letting time in the shape be the operative force here. So it's different than a flow practice.
5 or 6 long, slow breaths here. With every exhale breath, just letting yourself get a little more heavy, a little more settled on the floor. Now, if you shifted the gaze, I'll invite you to bring the gaze back center. Let's bring our knees back center. Let's keep the small pillow between the legs. Let's bring that big pillow off to the other side. Arms out to a T, the palms face up, and just letting your legs fall the other way. And then when it's time, if it's right and good for you, letting your head fall away from the knees. And then just holding this, 15 to 20 breaths, say 3 or 4 minutes. Again, just letting some time in the shape be the operative force as we start to release and relax our bodies. And another 5 or 6 long, slow breaths here. Now, if you shift to the gaze, bringing the gaze back center, we can bring our knees back center. We can remove the pillow between the legs. And I'll allow you to roll onto one side, hanging out there for a breath. And just seeing how your body feels. And then tucking the chin. As we push on up, let's set up for legs up a wall without a wall. And if you do have a wall handy, feel free to use that wall. I'm going to use a big pillow. So it starts out similar to the supported back bend we started class out with. So I've got the pillow under my sacrum. I'm going to lay myself down. I'm going to adjust this pillow a little bit just so it's a little bit more centered on my body. From here, I'm going to draw one knee in and then the other, and then I'm going to stretch those legs high to the sky, and we'll be here about, say 20 to 25 breaths, about 4 or 5 minutes. As I hold the pose, I'm going to make one more adjustment here. I'm going to take this smaller pillow and bring it underneath my head. I've got my arms out to the side, the palms up. And another 3 or 4 long, slow breaths here. Now I'm going to bend one knee at a time. I'm going to run down through those feet. Just taking a breath to relax. That's a more strenuous pose than it might seem. Letting your belly soften. I'm sure you started to feel some engagement there, just keeping those legs up, particularly if you weren't using the wall. And then hands by our hips, the palms face down, pressing into hands and feet to lift up the hips, bringing the pillow out, and then laying your spine down as you stretch tailbone towards the heels, as if you're laying pearls onto a cushion. When that sacrum lands down, just take a breath to find a little space in the low back. And then stretching long through an arm. Rolling onto one side, hanging out there for a breath, just seeing how your body feels. And then pressing on up. From here, let's work a half butterfly. So I've got my right foot in onto my thigh. I'm going to support it. Just so, why not? It's a restorative class. I'm going to use my big pillow here to provide a little height. I'm going to fold that pillow over a little bit. And then I'm just going to drape myself over. As again, just letting some time in the shape. Release the back, release the hip. And we're not going to hold it too long here. Say 8 to 10 breaths. Preparing to come out. Another breath or two. And then a tuck of the chin as I roll it on up. Let's bring that pillow off to the side for a sec. Again, let's be super careful with our knee. We keep the knee joint closed as we bring the leg center. We flex the foot as we lengthen through the leg. And again, just giving that knee some love and consideration. A hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. And then just giving that kneecap a little wiggle. We'll set up for the half butterfly on the second side. So I'll draw left foot in, finding the thigh. Left hip's a little less open here. You can see that that knee doesn't naturally go down as quickly. So we'll definitely use the pillow on this side. And I'm still feeling a little space here, so I'm going to double it over so I got lots of support. I'm going to bring this big pillow on center. I'm going to double that over so I've got lots of support. And then I'm just going to drape myself over for 8 to 10 breaths, just letting that left hip rest, relax, and release. And preparing to come out, a tuck of the chin as we bring it on up. Bring that pillow off to the side. Super careful with the knee as we bring the knee center. Flexing the foot as we lengthen the leg. And then just giving that knee a little love and consideration. A hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. And then giving that kneecap a little wiggle. Let's set up for a final relaxation shape. I suggest big pillow under the knees. Small pillow for the back of the head. Laying ourselves down very precisely as we find more length in our spine, supporting the back of the head, arms out to the side, doing whatever else feels right and good for you this evening. Our final relaxation shape, our floating on a cloud pose, doing whatever else feels right and good for you tonight. Staying in Shavasana, I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I'll invite you to hear the chiming of the bell, the duration of the sound, and then its diminution, and then the silence thereafter. Those of you in Shavasana, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Now shaping that breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by an even longer, slower exhalation as we move towards a more relaxing, a more languorous breath. So long, smooth breaths in. Longer, smoother, slower breaths out. Keeping this, I'll invite you to wiggle your fingers and toes as you invite prana, as you invite life force into your body. And now inviting that prana, that life force, that energy in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Intuitive movement as you lay on the floor. And then drawing one knee at a time in towards your heart as your hands catch your shins. And using your thighs to massage your belly as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. Keeping the knees close in, I'll invite you to gently rock it from side to side, releasing those hips, releasing and relaxing your back. And then rolling onto one side, stretching long through an arm, letting that arm serve as a cushion for the head as we share a long, slow breath here on the floor. Letting that breath sigh out through our mouth, softening our shoulders, relaxing our jaws, softening the corners of our eyes. And then neck relaxed, face soft as we press into a hand to come up and claim a cross-legged sit. I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin as 5 fingers of one hand find the floor. The palm of the other hand faces the sky. Ending our restorative practice as we started, just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bow as you thank yourself for practicing restorative yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. Namaste. I thank you all for practicing with me this evening. Different kind of class. I just want to see how this plays. And if you have any comments, please comment. And just let me know how you're doing and how things are. And yes, the pillows are nice. And we'll see you next time.